Good evening. Welcome to the Kern County Planning Commission regular meeting, February 22nd of 2024. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ashley? Commissioner Dunbar? Commissioner Nance?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Here.
Mr. Murphy?
Here.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Slayton?
Here.
Ms. Simon?
Here. Quick reminder to please remember to turn off all cell phones, pagers, or electronic devices during our commission meeting. Item B, commission member announcements or reports.
Yes, I have. Well, mics. I don't know if our mics are going to do good here. Let's hold this back. I have one real quick. I wanted to ask staff, actually, if we can take a look at the way that we do document delivery, possibly whether explore into some of the electronic delivery systems or what we can do in regards to that.
Commissioner Oliver, through the chair. So that comes at the direction of the Board of Supervisors, and that has been discussed many times, and it's been determined that we are not using electronic email when it comes to any of our communication. There's some legal ramifications about whether or not an email is or is not opened. That's been discussed many, many times, and the policies have been set by the Board of Supervisors in terms of how the Planning Department processes and delivers notices and notifications for various meetings and things along those lines.
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other member announcements or reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to item C, approval of the minutes from the February 8th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll do a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Great. Motion approved. Item D, cases withdrawn or request for continuance. We have one item, item 5. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. Case number 5, this is GPA 2, map 10431, zone change 29, map 10431, PD number 12, map 10431. Our applicant is Joseph Etine by McIntosh and Associates, and the recommendation by staff is to refer that project back to staff. That completes the readings of the items withdrawn or request for continuance.
Great. I will take a motion from a member of the commission.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. We will vote on screen.
4 ayes, 1 absent. 4 ayes, 1 absent. Motion carries.
Great, thank you. On to consent items. Item E, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you again, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. So these are items scheduled before your Commission which are being recommended for approval by staff. The applicant has been informed of any special conditions and has no objection. The hearing on these items may be expedited if no member of the Commission or audiences wish to comment or provide any questions regarding the case. At this time, we have 6 items that are on consent. The first is case number 1, CUP 17, map 121, zone variance number 11, map 121. Our applicant is Gardal Singh and Balbir Kaur by LAV Pinnacle Engineering. This project is located on the southwest corner of Stockdale Highway and Interstate 5 in unincorporated Bakersfield area. The actions before your commission are as follows. A conditional use permit to construct an approximately 12,303 square foot travel center with a fast food drive-through restaurant, 2 service stations totaling 28 auto fuel pumps, 9-bay diesel fuel island truck fueling station with associated truck scale and truck parking, all on an approximately 3,000 square foot convenient market. Project would include 4 fast food drive-through restaurants totaling approximately 11,400 square feet and a 9,000 square foot truck wash and truck repair. Project also includes a zone variance to construct a pole sign with a 300 square foot sign face with a maximum 240 square foot sign face is permitted, and a 70-foot sign height where the maximum 35-foot sign height is permitted, all on approximately 26.2 acre parcel that is zone CHPD. I would note that you did receive a letter provided to you this evening from the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club expressed some concerns regarding biota studies that would be required for this particular project and overall concerns regarding climate change and air quality. I would note that this comment is similar to one that had already been provided into the record in which staff had responded to. The project itself includes 20 electric charging stations as part of the proposal. The project includes extensive mitigation measures that were identified in the previous mitigated negative declaration that was done that will require pre-construction surveys, and all of the other air emissions and requirements will be subject to San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. Staff does believe that we have formally responded to these comments, and we do believe that all these impacts have been addressed, and therefore we are recommending that your commission approve the updated mitigated negative declaration, adopt the mitigation measure monitoring program, approve the conditional use permit in accordance with the recommended conditions of approval, approve zone variance in accordance with the recommended conditions of approval, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the attached resolution. Case number 2 this evening. This is the Bullhead Solar Project and includes a number of general plan amendments, changes in zone classifications, conditional use permits, and exclusion from Ag Preserve. The applicant for this project is EDF Renewables, LLC, and the site is generally located at 100th Street West and Don Road, extending east past Tehachapi Willow Springs Road in unincorporated Willow Springs, Rosamond area. The project itself, this is the proposed Bullhead Solar Project, and it involves the construction and operation of a photovoltaic solar facility and associated infrastructure necessary to generate up to 270 megawatts of renewable electrical energy with a battery energy storage system capable of storing approximately 270 megawatts, all on approximately 1,343 acres of privately owned land. Again, there are a number of requests that have been incorporated, which I will not read at this particular time, but the project does include general plan amendments, changes in zone classifications, CUPs, and the Ag Preserve to facilitate the project. I would note that you did receive a letter from Mitchell Sy. Mitchell Sy is representing the Western Council of Carpenters and expressed some concerns regarding the identified project. I would note that this letter is almost word for word the same as what was previously provided to staff and was adequately responded to in the response to comments document that was provided to your commission. Staff does believe that all of the impacts have been addressed to the extent feasible, and we are recommending that your commission move forward with the project approval this evening. Overall, our recommendation is to advise the Planning Commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors to certify the environmental impact report, adopt Section 15091 findings of fact and Section 15093 statement of overriding considerations, adopt mitigation monitoring and reporting program, approve amendment to the land use element of the Willow Springs specific plan as requested, enact ordinances and adopt resolution approving the zone changes as requested, approve conditional use permits subject to conditions as recommended by staff, approve the amendment to the circulation element of the Kern County General Plan as requested, approve amendments to the circulation element of the Willow Springs specific plan as requested, and approve exclusion from the boundaries of Ag Preserve number 24 and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the attached draft resolution. Case number 3 this evening, this is the Enterprise Solar Project. And again, this case also includes a number of general plan amendments, changes in zone classifications, and conditional use permit requests. The applicant for this case is Enterprise Solar Star LLC by Terrigen. And this project itself consists of 5 sites that are generally located in the vicinity of unincorporated communities of Mojave and Rosamond, south of State Route 58 and east and west of State Route 14. The proposed Enterprise Solar Project would involve the construction and operation of 4 photovoltaic solar facilities and associated infrastructure that would generate a combined total of approximately 600 megawatts of renewable electrical energy with up to 4,000 megawatt hours of battery energy storage capacity and 1 step-up substation, all on approximately 2,320 acres across 5 non-contiguous sites. I would note that your commission also received an additional letter this evening from Mitchell Sy, again representing the Western Council of Carpenters. Similar to the previous project, this is the same letter that was provided as part of the draft environmental impact report, in which staff fully prepared and provided complete responses to this letter and have been provided to your commission as part of the response to comments document. Again, staff does believe that all of the issues have been addressed to the extent that we can as part of this environmental impact report, and we are recommending your commission move forward with the request. The recommendation for staff this evening is to certify the environmental impact report, adopt Section 15091 findings of fact and Section 15093 statement of overriding considerations, adopt the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, adopt resolution and recommended findings approving conditional use permit subject to the recommended conditions, adopt resolution and recommended findings approving amendment to the circulation element of the Kern County General Plan as recommended by staff, approve the memorandum of understanding and agreement, and authorize the chairman to sign. Case number 4 this evening. This is CUP number 30, map 160, Williamson Act contract number 23-04. Our applicant is SF Jasmine LLC by Idemitsu Renewables. This project is located on the northwest corner of Old River Road and Copus Road, approximately 4 miles west of Interstate 5. The Jasmine Solar Project involves the construction and operation of a photovoltaic solar facility and associated infrastructure, all on approximately 527 acres of privately owned land. The actions before your commission include the conditional use permit to facilitate the development of the solar project, and then a Williamson Act land use contract cancellation of approximately 527 acres. I would note that your commission received an addendum staff report on this particular project this evening. The purpose of that addendum, we noticed a typo that was identified where the project substation is going to be located. So just to clarify, in the staff report, again, it was correct in any other documents, but the substation will be located on parcel 295-13215. That doesn't change the recommendation, and staff is still recommending your commission approve this project. The recommendation is to advise the Planning Commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors to certify the environmental impact report, adopt Section 15091 findings of fact, and Section 15093 statement of overriding considerations, adopt the mitigation measure monitoring program, approve conditional use permits subject to, I need a clarification from staff real quick. Katrina? Is there a reason why this is a recommendation and not a final decision?
Mr. Murphy, this has a Williamson Act cancellation that needs to be
Thank you.
considered by the Board of Supervisors.
Sorry, there's a number of projects. So it is correct. Because of the Williamson Act contract cancellation, this is an advisory action. So the staff recommendation is to advise your commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors to certify the environmental impact report, adopt the Section 15091 findings of fact, and Section 15093 statement of overriding considerations, adopt mitigation measure monitoring program, approve conditional use permit subject to the recommended conditions, approve cancellation of the Williamson Act land use contract subject to payment of penalty fees, direct clerk of the board to issue a tentative certificate of cancellation subject to payment of penalty fees in compliance with all other conditions contained in the tentative certificate of cancellation, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. Case number 6 this evening. This is zone change case number 85, map 10221. Our applicant is Ethel Ticat. This project is located on the southeast corner of Patton Way and Meany Avenue in unincorporated Bakersfield area. The request is a change in zone classification from E5RS to M1PD, or a more restrictive district, across 2 parcels of record totaling 4.26 acres. The staff recommendation is to advise the Planning Commission to recommend the Board of Supervisors to adopt resolution, recommended findings, and enact ordinance approving the zone change as requested. And finally, our last case on consent is case number 7. This is an extension of time for tentative tract 7295. Our applicant is Faro Homes by Porter and Associates. This request, again, is an extension of time for a period of 3 years for vesting tentative tract map number 7295, which proposed the division of 50.08 acre site into 112 lots ranging in size from 10,064 square feet net to 27,464 square feet net for residential use. Project included a 1.14 acre sump lot and a 2.5 acre drill island. The project also included various development variations to the land division ordinance. The request also included zone modification to the zoning ordinance that would allow 2 10,064 square foot lots where the minimum lot size is 10,890 square feet in the E1/4 district. And that project also included a request to waiver of signature of mineral rights owners in accordance with section 18.15030K of the Kern County Land Division Ordinance. Staff recommendation is to approve a 3-year extension of time from February 6, 2024 to February 6, 2027, subject to the original conditions of approval, and adopt the original findings as set forth in the attached resolution number 3-21. That completes the reading of the consent calendar tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. That was impressive. Is there any member of the commission that would like to take any of these 6 items off of consent?
Chair Skidmore, I'd like to request that agenda items 2 and 3 be voted on in a separate motion, as I'll be recusing myself.
Great, thank you. Is there any member of the public that would like to take any of these items off of consent? Please come forward, state your name for the record.
My name is Gordon Knipp. I'd like to take off. It's the truck stop at I-5 and Stockdale Highway. I think that's item number 1, isn't it?
Correct.
I'd like to take that off the agenda.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that would like to take another item other than number 1 off of consent? Seeing none, we will start by doing a vote of items 4, 6, and 7. Does that work for you, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, that is fine.
Perfect. Items 4, 6, and 7, so I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to,
A motion from Commissioner Oliver,
Second?
a second, and we will vote on screen.
4 ayes, 1 absent, motion carries.
Great, now we'll move on to items number 2 and number 3. I'll need a motion.
Make a motion.
A motion from Commissioner Dunbar,
I'll second.
and a second.
Three ayes, 1 absent, 1 abstained, motion carries.
Great, thank you so much.
Madam Chair, before we go forward, case number 7 is subject to right of appeal, so I'd like to read that before we move forward with the remainder of the agenda.
Please.
For projects where the Planning Commission action is final, those actions are subject to an appeal to the Board of Supervisors by any interested person, and no development proposed by any application may be authorized until after the final date of appeal. An appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning and Natural Resources Department located at 2700 M Street, Suite 100 in Bakersfield, with a filing fee of $540 on forms that we have available at the department and that are located on the website. For track maps, which this case qualifies under, that appeal must be filed within 10 days from the date of decision of the Planning Commission. Any such appeal must be accompanied again by the appeal fee of $540. If no appeal is received, the action of your commission is final.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. We're moving on to item F, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on any matter not on this agenda and over which the commission has jurisdiction. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record before making a presentation. We'll wait a few minutes while the room clears out a little bit. Okay, another call for public presentations. Seeing none, we'll move to item G, public hearings, where we will hear from Mr. Murphy on item number 1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We actually have Ms. Anjanette Simon who will be making, Anjanette Simon will be making the introduction of whether she or her staff will be presenting the project this evening.
We Rochambeaued for it, just kidding. Actually, this is, I'd like to present Ms. Sarah Eichenhorst. She is Planner 3, who's been working diligently on this project, and she's going to give a brief presentation of the staff report.
Please continue.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Skidmore and Commissioners. The project before you this evening is a conditional use permit for the phased development of a travel center, which would include a 12,303 square foot travel center with an associated drive-through fast food restaurant, 2 service stations totaling 28 auto fuel pumps, a 9-bay diesel truck fueling station with scale and truck parking, a 3,000 square foot convenience market, 4 fast food drive-through restaurants, a truck wash and truck repair. The request also includes a zone variance to construct a 70-foot tall pole sign with a 300 square foot sign face. This project will be on an approximate 26-acre parcel. The applicants for this project are Gurdeal Singh and Balbir Kaur. The project is located at the southwest corner of Stockdale Highway and Interstate 5 in the unincorporated Bakersfield area. The project site zoning is CHPD, Highway Commercial, Precise Development Combining District. In the surrounding area, to the north, south, and west is a mix of agricultural and commercially designated vacant land. And east of the project site is Interstate 5 and commercial development on the other side. During this process, we had a notification process, and it covered the proposal, Staff received various department and agency comments on the project, including some comments of concern from Sierra Club, which have all been addressed in the staff report. In the addressing of the concerns, they covered air pollution and climate change, CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, solar usage, electric vehicle infrastructure usage, and biological effects, all of which have been covered in detail in the staff report. In response to the comments, staff included various recommended conditions of approval for your commission's consideration this evening to address various concerns, such as biological studies, air pollution control review, and a lead biologist to be on site during the development of the entire project. In summary, staff believes the concerns involved with biological and air have been addressed in our conditions of approval, or recommended conditions of approval. And let's see, and the purpose and intent of the project are met within the commercial district that it's located within, considering a close proximity to the interstate as well. And therefore, staff continues to believe the project can be recommended for approval, and this concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you so much. As a member of the public who pulled this item off consent, would you like to come forward and share your comments?
Yes, I'm Gordon Knipp. I'm the vice chair of the local Sierra Club chapter. I've got copies of this latest letter that I sent in. I'm not, so I think one for each of the commissioners and one for the record. We sent in a letter on this project in December, I guess December 12. I just want to emphasize certain aspects of our ongoing concerns here tonight. First of all, regarding air pollution. Kern County, of course, has arguably the worst air quality in the nation. Many children have asthma. The county is only requiring this project to comply with weak San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District requirements that have not, over the years, addressed our local air pollution problem. Rather than leaving it at the discretion of the air district, the county, in our opinion, should take the bull by the horns by placing a stronger requirement that the developer reduce project emissions to zero by actually entering into a developer mitigation contract with the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. For that matter, reducing emissions from any new project to zero should be standard policy so that our dreadful air doesn't get any dirtier. To address biological resource issues, a biological survey and consultation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and California Department of Fish and Wildlife should be required before project approval, now, before you approve the project. To approve the project now, before decisive current input from wildlife resource agencies is received, neither you, the decision makers, nor we, the public, have any idea whether there are significant species and habitat issues on this project, nor do we know what mitigation may be required. Mitigation requirements must not be deferred until after project approval. You shouldn't approve this project until the consultation with the wildlife agencies is received. Regarding the climate crisis, the county should be
Mr.
adding.
Knipp, real quick, before you continue, real quick. Before you continue, we were given this letter before the meeting.
Yes?
And so we've been able to have time to review it. I know you're reading directly from it, but if there anything else maybe that is in addition to the letter that you would like to highlight, since we have had a chance to review this before the meeting?
Well, I guess what my concerns are in the letter primarily, yeah. So you don't want me to speak?
No, you can. We just usually give 2 minutes for those that are speaking, and you've gone beyond that. And then we also have a copy of the letter that you're reading. So that has gone.
So you want me to stop?
You have gone past your limit, correct?
You're not interested in hearing what I have to say. I'm sure you all read the letter.
We have read the letter. We got it before
sure.
the meeting.
Okay.
And then Mr. Murphy also has addressed the comments of the letter as well in his presentation.
I would prefer to actually talk a little bit on this. I don't see that. I don't see that there's an awful lot of a hurry here.
If you have something, in addition to the letter, or maybe some high points instead of reading from the letter, that would be helpful. But we have had time to read the letter ourselves.
I would like to talk about the climate crisis.
Okay,
I would
continue.
like to talk about several of these issues, and I think they should be pointed out. The public ought to know about them on KGov. People are watching this on KGov, and I think it's important that the public understand what the Sierra Club concerns are here. Not only you, but we're talking to the population on KGov as well. And I very much would like to express our concerns here.
You're welcome to. I just wanted to let you know that we have had time to review this letter and that this has been in the record, and Mr. Murphy and staff have already addressed the letter as well.
They really haven't addressed the letter.
Okay. If you have
That's what
additional
I'm talking
comments,
about here.
then
They
you're
really have
welcome to
not addressed
proceed.
the letter.
You're using up precious time. If you would have additional comments, you are welcome to proceed.
I do have additional
But you are
comments.
way beyond your normal 2-minute time frame.
So okay, I'll sit down.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals from the public that would like to speak on this item?
That's really bad.
Seeing none, is there any commissioners that would like to speak on this item or make comments? Staff, is there any comments that you would like to make in addition to the ones that have already been made?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. So just a couple things, because as we outline just this particular project and maybe how it's similar or different than other projects that come before you, I would just to take a few minutes just to highlight some higher level things just to kind of discuss. So the first thing is this project site is already designated and zoned for a commercial use. An environmental analysis, mitigation measures, and everything were identified back when that change in zoning occurred in 1998. So the project does include, and at that time there was a biological study that was done and a number of other technical studies that were done that were identified in terms of going through that evaluation. As part of that study back then, and as part of the mitigation measures that were included then, this project, before any building permits or grading permits can get done, will have to update its study and coordinate and consult with Fish and Wildlife to offset any potential impacts that are located on the project site. So I just like to characterize that unlike a project where it has been zoned ag or it's been native brush, while this is native brush, we have done an analysis previously on it, which is why staff is comfortable moving forward at this particular time. And the other thing, just from a consistency standpoint, given the location next to two major I-5 and the Stockdale Highway, we do think that this is the type of location that is appropriate for this type of development. We believe that that's actually consistent with everything that we see in terms of where we should have some of these types of projects located, as it's along major transportation corridors. And we do believe that the development in and of itself is in an appropriate location to help address some of climate concerns and everything along those lines. The project itself has gone above and beyond, and it is incorporating a number of electric vehicle charging stations. That's something that a lot of projects are including, and staff is actually starting to recommend on all of our projects as we go forward. Again, this particular project right now has a condition that it would do 20 electrical vehicle charging stations. The last comment I want to mention, and it is subject to your commission's consideration, is the comment regarding a developer mitigation contract. So what that is it is a requirement that the county has put on other projects that requires project applicants to enter into an agreement with the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District to basically get a no net increase in air emissions that are generated from the particular project. So that is a project that's incorporated on a lot of our environmental impact reports that we move forward with, and we are considering whether or not those should or should not be incorporated onto some other projects as well. It is a mitigation measure that we have included before, and it is one that your commission has the authority, if you believe appropriate, to include, and we can include that as a conditional use, as a condition of approval for this particular project, requiring the applicant to enter into this developer mitigation contract that is within your authority. The reason staff did not initially include it, partly because this project was based on, and when it started, the analysis that approved the zoning was done and that requirement was not incorporated at that particular time. We do believe that there's CEQA case law that establishes that greenhouse gas emissions is not new information. However, it is something that back in 1998, that was not a requirement that was put on individual projects of this particular size. However, if it is your commission's desire, that is a measure that we have incorporated on a number of other projects, and we would be happy if you wanted to move this forward by adding that condition of approval. We would be happy to create some language so that that can be incorporated as well as part of the consideration for this particular project. I believe that gets the point of most of the comments that were made and kind of a high-level summary for your commission's consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. I will close public comment, bring it back to the commission for any comments or motions.
I'll go ahead and I know that there was some issues with the Sierra Club and stuff. I believe reading through your letter, sir, that staff has addressed this. I do agree that with this motion that we should also add on that the developer here enter into a developer mitigation contract on that motion.
Mr. Oliver, are you making a motion with that additional?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other additions to the motion or a second?
I'll go ahead and second that.
Great. So, Mr. Murphy, it sounds like there's an approval of staff recommendations as read into the record with an addition of a developer mitigation contract.
Madam Chair, let me read the language so you guys can think about it. While I'm finishing crafting it, if you kind of give me a second, if I could get staff to figure out where this would go and what number it would be a prior to any issuance of building or grading permit. So while you're figuring out where it would go, let me finish crafting the language.
Sounds good.
So while staff is figuring out where it would go, let me read the condition to you and then we'll let you know what location would be.
Okay.
So the language that we would add as a condition of approval, it would be prior to issuance of any building or grading permit, the project proponent shall enter into a development mitigation contract or VERA with the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District to reduce all air emissions to no net zero. This requirement includes project construction emissions, evidence of the agreement between the applicant and the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District shall be provided to the Kern County Planning and Natural Resources Department. So that would be the language that I would include. And the location would be,
No pressure.
it would be under 4S. Oh, wait.
It would be under 4S with a new number 5.
Okay, so 4S would be changed to number 5?
There would be a number 5 after number 4. So it's S, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be number 5.
Okay. So that would be the language that we would include.
Great. I don't see any problems with that. I think we have a motion and a second. We can now vote.
4 ayes, 1 absent, motion carries.
Thank you so much, staff, for those edits and for your hard work on this.
Madam Chair, this item is subject to an appeal because it's a conditional use permit and your action is final. So I'd like to read the appeal process.
Please continue.
For projects where the Planning Commission action is final, those actions are subject to an appeal to the Board of Supervisors by any interested person, and no development proposed by any application may be authorized until after the final date of appeal. That appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning and Natural Resources Department located at 2700 M Street, Suite 100, Bakersfield, with a filing fee of $540 on forms available at the department and on the website. The filing must be made within 14 days of and including the date of this hearing. If no appeal is received, the action of your commission is final.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. We are now at item H, adjournment. I'll need a motion.
Motion?
The motion and a second.
I'll second.
Awesome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for March 14th, 2024.